We ran this game on the Amstrad in December 86, January 87, and the Darlings were questioning it a bit. We understand that Robin Hood, why people would buy that. We understand Ghost Hunters, why people were We understand Grand Prix Simulator, but what's this? Anyway, they wanted to keep us happy, so they decided to put it in a box and just basically see how it sold. It sold okay for the first month. It sold okay for the second month. And then it just kept selling and selling and selling. And when you're in box products, what tends to happen is that a shop will only stock it for 2 or 3 months. But actually with Dizzy, the sales just kept rising and rising and rising. So after about 8 or 10 months, and by the time we've written lots of other games, this thing's still selling and actually starting to outsell a lot of the newer games that we're making. And we're going, hang on a minute, we're on to something here. So we decided to do a follow-up to Dizzy called Treasure Island Dizzy.
And I believe, Swanee, you've got a video of Treasure Island Dizzy as well for us, haven't you? We might not have
just to see if people really did like Dizzy.
So, and you already created Treasure Island Dizzy while this was going on? Or?
No. This was only created this because
that's not the Amstrad.
That's not the Amstrad. That is the Amiga version.
That's what that sounds like. Hold on. So yeah, so 8 months of selling Dizzy, just keep selling.
Just kept selling. So we decided to make a second Dizzy game, Treasure Island Dizzy.
Yep. And was that with the Darlings pushing you to do that, or that was your own decision you wanted to make?
No, we wanted to do all of the games we were making back before Codemasters, who were our publisher. We were making them from my bedroom. Not his bedroom. I had the big bedroom. So we were just deciding what games we wanted to make, finishing games and taking them to Codemasters and saying, our next game is published. Which we were very happy to do because they were selling really well. And Treasure Island just went straight to #1. So it sort of shows that everyone who'd been buying Dizzy over the last year went straight out to buy Treasure Island. They were ready and it was like, right, okay, we're definitely onto something here.
But then the question I guess with that is, graphically, obviously the Amiga one looks very different. It's sort of look, you've done that. How do you better it? Because obviously there is demand. The moment Treasure Island Dizzy lands,
the minute we've done Treasure Island Dizzy and it went ballistic, we're going, we have to do a really good one. So the next one was Fantasy World Dizzy, and we were thinking, how can we sort of amp this up? How can we make this much better? So I think we must have spent 2 or 3 months.
God, that's amazing.
So we used to hand draw everything. To be perfectly honest, we used to do all the coding by hand and then type it in as well. Actually, we do a set of videos on how these games are made. So if you go on YouTube and look at the Oliver Twins channel, we actually have 20-minute videos on making each of the games. How we remember we made them. But we never chuck a long time ago. But we never chuck anything away. So we go back and get all of our notes and the discs and stuff out, and then try and talk through. We never throw anything away. So we try and talk through how we made it. Anyway, so Fantasy World Dizzy, we spent 2 or 3 months on and thinking we've got to make this much better, much more complex and interesting puzzles.
And put the lives back in it as well, because Treasure
Island Dizzy. Again, I'll apologise about the lives. If anyone's played Treasure Island Dizzy, they only had 1 life, and that's because it was coming up towards Christmas. We made a few complex puzzles, and then somebody, when we were sort of playing it, nearly finished. And remember, we only made it for ourselves, and no one else really played them until we finished them. And people said, but if you climb up into the treehouse using the rope and stuff, and then you drop the rope, and then you fall out of the treehouse, then you're stuck. If you put the snorkel down under the water, you're stuck. If you do this, you're stuck. And we do this. Oh my God, you're right. So we fixed it. So we fixed it the only way we could think of without rewriting the entire game, and that was to make it 1 life. Sorry about that. There's always ways to fix it. So, but we knew about the problem now. So when we went into Fantasy World Dizzy, it was like, okay, we're going to make really complex puzzles, and every puzzle we think of, there must be always a way out, that you can get out of it. There's a very interesting thing actually, and I'm going to slightly go sidetrack, but Mario. If anyone had played the original Mario, they used to put in puzzles, and occasionally there'll be a puzzle that you couldn't solve. Go back 1 screen, and somewhere there'll be an invisible jump block that will jump you over the puzzle. Because they found exactly the same problem, that occasionally people couldn't get past a certain thing. And they worked out invisible block on a previous screen, and And then people occasionally find these things. And it was just to make sure that if you were incredibly stuck, there was always a...
Eventually you find
just jump
something.
around randomly and it will ping you over the jump. Anyway, we didn't have that solution, so we made it one life. But we were very proud of Fantasy World Dizzy because we knew about the problem. We made very complex puzzles and we worked out that no puzzle could ever get you stuck. And we also introduced the family. So now he wasn't a lone hero, he had a family.
Amazing.
Actually, yoke folk.
So I'm just conscious because there's so much I want to talk to you about. Obviously, Fantasy World Dizzy, we've had that. That also went incredibly well. But I mean, presumably at this point, you guys are quite busy. You're under a lot of pressure to deliver. So how do you cope with that? How do you
Between our sixth form, when we were supposed to be studying and we were trying to make games, we didn't do a lot of sleeping and we didn't do a lot of partying. Despite what sometimes papers said about whiz kids and all this money, we didn't really do anything except for get up, eat, code, go to sleep, eat, code, go to sleep. For about 6 or 7 years.
Wow. And how long
People do that now on Minecraft, I have to say.
No, they do. I'm one of them, yeah.
I don't think they should, but we just programmed our
It probably
life.
wasn't healthy,
No.
but we did make a lot of games.
Yes, I'm presuming from what you were saying, a lot of money because your games are selling well. You're making more money the more.
We probably have made more money, but
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, we won't get into that then. That sounds. I'll leave that one alone. But you had to start. You had to start getting help in terms of turning the games over. Is that right? You had. You couldn't like Magic Land Dizzy, I believe, was the next one of the series, but that wasn't just your handiwork.
no, absolutely not. So the thing was that we made a bunch of games called simulators, if anybody remembers Codemasters, and they were really successful, and we basically knew that we could take a popular pastime, put the word simulator on it, do a nice game, and it would sell a lot. We could do Dizzy, do a nice game, it would sell a lot. Oh, and we're creative guys, so every now and then we want to do a different type of game as well. And there's only so many hours in a day. So it's like, oh, we've got this opportunity, this opportunity, this opportunity, and we can't do it all. So we decided to start allowing other people to make Dizzy games for us.
And the first one of which of those was
The first one of those was Prince of the Oak Folk.
Prince of the Oak Folk.
Prince of the Oak Folk, which you can actually get on iPhone and Android now. So, the original programmer came and asked us a few years ago, he said, remember that old game I wrote for you? Do you mind if I just put it out on the iPhone?
So the guy who you got to make
It was the original programmer.
it was him that said, "Can we re-release
Yeah,
this?"
because he still had the code. So he had the code in the graphics and said, do you mind? I'm trying to show that I can write an iPhone game and I'm sitting on this game.
So can I just update that?
Can I just update that and put it out on iPhone? And we said, yeah, good luck, mate.
That's good. And that was the first time I've seen this because obviously you had.
Oh yes, actually it's here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it featured on BBC Click, which is quite nice.
Very, very nice. It is worth getting.
Now, Dizzy was one of the most successful European gaming brands of its era and has been given a 21st century makeover with the launch of apps for iPhone, iPad and Android. Just like its great granddaddy, Dizzy, Prince of the Yoke Folk, is a platform puzzler featuring the happiest, bounciest egg on the planet.
Oh, thank you. We've got that back. Good. Thank God for that. So that was that. But obviously, before that, we had a lot of it. We had like Fast Food, Quick Snacks, those games. And Spellbound, we had that as well. But then, for a long time, Dizzy just disappeared. So why was that?
So we had a lot of fun making sort of random games. We'd see a certain idea, like Bubble Dizzy, for example. We thought, here's a sort of nice, catchy thing, we put Dizzy in it, it will sell. To be perfectly honest, actually, that's on iPhone and stuff, but it was called Doodle Jump. If you look at Doodle Jump, it's pretty much Bubble Dizzy. It is. But anyway, so we were having fun making these games, and people knew what they were getting and they would buy it. They weren't huge games, but they were fun games and generally fairly cheap. But then what happened, and the reason it all stopped, is because of consoles. Because Nintendo and Sega came into the market and the whole way you develop was just entirely different.
The whole industry changed. So up until with all these home computers, anybody was just allowed to write games, anybody was just allowed to publish games. But when consoles came in, Sega and Nintendo basically put rules in place that you're not allowed to make games on their machines without their permission. without their dev kits, without publishing and licensing and development agreements. We don't have them. Sorry.
Okay. So we did actually write Fantastic Disney on the Nintendo.
I don't know if you've got a picture of that.
No, okay, we haven't got a picture of that one, but we got that on the Nintendo. Unfortunately, it ended up in a legal case with Codemasters because it was unlicensed. It was an unlicensed Nintendo game.
We're not allowed to make it.
So it all got a bit difficult, and
Also, just the experience of trying to move over to the console market, and obviously the troubles that you seem to have had with the licensing things, that was enough to make you park it and move away from this? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually the legal issues rather than the actual coding issues. We know how to make games. We can make games. We made some lovely games on the Nintendo. But actually being allowed to release them and put them out to market, it caused Codemasters all sorts of turmoil. And in all that turmoil, we left and just said, you know what, we're going to go and work for the Americans because they've got all the publishing agreements in place.
so we set up Interactive Studios, which then got renamed as Blitz, but we went to American publishers, EA, Activision, and then we pretty much landed with Disney and DreamWorks and GHQ.
Yeah, and obviously you've been working throughout and done a lot of other things, but you did come back to this because we had a Kickstarter. I don't know how it was 3 years.
So with the advent of digital distribution and Kickstarter, we wondered whether there would be a kind of fan base out there that would help support us make a game, a new generation of Disney. So we talked to Codemasters. They weren't going to help fund it, they weren't going to help publish it, but they said you can do it if you can find the money. So we did a Kickstarter to try and launch sort of a new Disney game. Unfortunately, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, of course.
Have we got a video?
I believe we've got a video. If we can call it out.
Hi, I'm Philip Oliver. And I'm Andrew Oliver. Together, we're the Oliver twins, the creators of Dizzy, a hugely successful game series from the 80s. When we were young, we were brought up on cartoons.
So we didn't have a Twitter account. We didn't really use Facebook. I had a personal account. I think you had a personal account.
Yeah, don't use it much.
Exactly. So actually it all fell over because you've only got a certain time to get your message out there and let people know that you're actually running a campaign. And so we basically, it didn't catch. People weren't even aware of the campaign. And to this day, people go, I'd have backed that if I knew. But actually, we hadn't got the message out there. So, unfortunately, the Kickstarter campaign all failed. We have since set up a Twitter account, the Oliver Twins. No surprise there. And I'm actually pretty active on it, to be fair. I've done a couple of tweets this morning, just to say turn up, where we are. And we've got a Facebook account. And do you know what? Dizzy has even got his own Facebook page. Trying to upstage us. And he's got more fans than us.
Ouch.
I know it hurts.
Because I didn't find out about the Kickstarter after, so I probably listened to us, I'm sure.
And that's what everybody says.
And that was the last we heard, but I saw, I don't know if I meant to ask you about this, but I saw on Twitter and Facebook, there's something.
There has been
something.
Maybe something afoot.
Around this new social media thing,
Yeah.
we have been tweeting and Facebooking that there will be a big Disney reveal on the 24th of October in Cambridge at the History of Computing Museum at 4 o'clock.
And would you like to save us a trip to Cambridge by just telling us everything?
No,
I'm looking forward to Cambridge.
It's a secret.
I really tried.
Yeah. It'd be awesome if lots of people get along there. Well, it will be packed.
Actually, no, I gather it's selling very well already. So, but if you are for another 24th, you can get to Cambridge. Some exciting news coming then.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the link on the screen now.